You a hater. The NFL players Michael Bennett, Malcolm Jenkins, Anquan Bolden, and Torrey Smith sent a letter to Commissioner Roger Goodell seeking support for racial justice, criminal justice reform, political involvement, financial backing, and a whole lot more. And what they want is a month dedicated to the issue of social activism. So yesterday, I moderated a panel by Congressman Hakeem Jeffries dealing with the issue of the activist athlete. And so here's some of that panel.
In terms of sending that letter to Commissioner Goodell, Commissioner Goodell is not a bad guy. I mean, he is in a very, very difficult position. He's in the middle of a boxing ring where you got players and the Players Association in one corner, you've got sponsors and fans in another corner, you got the game in another corner, and then you got owners in another corner, and they're not wearing boxing gloves, they have baseball bats. So every issue that comes up, he has to deal with it. Early on, Commissioner Goodell called me and asked, how should the league approach this new wave of athlete activism, which he and I had already talked about over a year ago. And I told him straight up that you have to get behind a movement from protest to progress, from protest to programs to progress.
The fact that they penned this memo, this letter, that essentially calls out the league for not standing with them in right versus wrong. Kaepernick and Bennett and all these brothers who have risked their careers to do this, is that we're asking for decency.
This is what it boils down to. There's strength in numbers. So if everybody does it, they can't fire everybody. But the reason why they specifically don't want Colin Kaepernick back in the league right now, and what message they specifically want to send to all other players, is specifically and strategically done. It's the same thing that happened back in the day when David Stern, the NBA, sent that message to Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and to Craig Hodges. There's a specific reason that if you go down this path, if you step out and do this, you will get Kaepernicked. To think that the NFL is going to institute something where they want to actually, educate all the players on social activism and be all supportive of it, I don't think that's really realistic.
We're no longer talking about the issues that the brothers who wrote the letter, who wrote the memo were about. We're talking about whether or not Kaepernick has a job. That's the equivalent of getting into a debate about, do you side with Ray Lewis and Michael Vick, or do you side with Kaepernick in terms of this issue? I don't care what Ray Lewis and Michael Vick say. I know what the issues are, and that was the point of Kaepernick's demonstrations. The same thing if he's on the outside looking in, and now you have all kinds of people mobilized around getting in touch with the commissioner about whether or not Kaepernick has a job. Not only does the commissioner not hire anybody, that should not really be the focus of a mass effort, because it undermines the very thing Kaepernick was trying to get at. It's the equivalent of people going and mobilizing in Montgomery in 1956 in order to get Rosa Parks her seat back.
What should be on that list, Terry?
Well, the question is twofold. There are a couple of things I'd like the NFL to do, if I could answer that question first. I do think they should be supportive of their employees. I think their support needs to be public. So we have some players who have gone other routes with their platform. They've come to the Hill. As always, money talks. That's been stated a number of times. They could fund and support those efforts, or support organizations that are already organized in those efforts. So I don't think there would be anything wrong with that. They could donate the platforms they already have before games, television time, for PSAs.
Jason, what should be on this list of demands?
Well, I think a financial partnership, financial backing, money to get there, and money to help hire lobbyists to affect the change that they want to affect. The month of November would be nice, but what about just a commitment of ownership of the 32 teams to be engaged in a thoughtful process with hiring someone for each team to help organize, to help refine what the issues are.
Eitan, what should be on that list of demands?
Well, what I saw from the list that the NFL players put together of saying that they wanted a month dedicated to activism, I thought that was great. And the fact of the power that the NFL has to get things done, I mean, just some of the things, and Dr. Edwards, because of course talked to it, that the 49ers started to institute after Colin Kaepernick's stance, was that they went to different police stations, and they were talking to the police as groups, and they went to different community organizations, and they were having different things. They were trying to bridge the gap. And it's like, okay, this is what the police were saying that they wanted. That's something that as an NFL organization that you have the power to do. So for them to say, look, we want you just as much as you put all the emphasis on different things, like you said, breast cancer awareness or the things like that, we want you to put that emphasis on activism. I think that's great. What pushed the NBA along at a faster pace, I'll say it like that, was the fact that they put economic pressure on them. That's it. You know, different people talking about boycotting. All right? They have to be able to actually feel that financially in order for it to be effective.
We ask you, just in part too, not to judge the players who aren't speaking out, who aren't kneeling, or who aren't expressing their rights or demonstrating in the way that you think that they should. There's a lot of organizing that needs to be done, and this is across society and across these social norms, and not just with the players of the National Football League.
And in many ways, the message being sent to Colin Kaepernick is all part of the climate that resulted in someone like so-and-so being elected as President of the United States of America. A constant backlash that we've seen. We saw it after the Reconstruction era and the end of slavery, which then resulted in Jim Crow. We saw it after the Civil Rights Movement and resulted in the election of Richard Nixon in '68, and then anti-busing, anti-affirmative action, a backlash, and then we saw it, Roland pointed out, 2010, as a result of a backlash to the election of Barack Obama, if we're going to be real about it. And so I think collectively, we need all hands on deck, including athletes who have a tremendous megaphone. I'm thankful for this wonderful panel for the thoughts that they've shared.
So is the problem we don't have an actual agenda and ask? I'll ask that question to my panel when we come back as we talk athletes and activism right here, NewsOne Now on TV One.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.